What is up, guys? Joe Writes here once again, and today I'm going to give my thoughts, initial impressions on Dauntless, the new free to play game that's arrived on PS4, Xbox One, and also PC. Now, this is a Monster Hunter type game where you just go around and fight behemoths one by one over individual levels. There's two types of challenges. You can do a patrol, which grants some additional orbs and such, but is a random monster from a select list, where you can also do other hunts, which are you actually get to pick which behemoth you face at that particular time. One of the main keys to the game is that you'll see there are certain types. There's fire, ice, electric, and earth that do go along with the different behemoths, and also go along with the different weapons and armor that you will craft. Each of the behemoths has various parts on them that you can destroy to gather weapon parts and then to upgrade your weapons. Now, from there, you'll also want to add some orbs that will give you different abilities with the weapons as well, with the armors as well, to kind of customize and curate your loadout as best as possible. The key is to try to match your type. You want to match the opposite type against the behemoth you're facing. So if you're fighting an ice behemoth, you want to use a flame sword or a flame weapon. And then you'll also want to use a armor of the same type. So if you're fighting a flame behemoth, you'll want to use a flame armor against him. And like I said, you'll be able to equip different cells, which are the orbs that give you different perks. And there's other upgrades that you'll get as far as modifications along the way as well. But we're just going to jump into a quick neutral behemoth just to show you the way the game looks, kind of all the updates, and just kind of give you a little first impression. Now, I'm using the sword for this hunt. It's pretty much the basic weapon in the game. There's also a hammer, axe, repeater pistol, a chain blade, and a war pike. Those are all the weapons available. Like I said, you can get different types of attacks. Now, if you go into the move list, you'll be able to see various attacks that you can use, as well as an R1, which is kind of like your special. And on the right-hand side, there's a list of various combos that you'll want to use. The first thing is to find the behemoth. You'll travel the kind of a fairly open map. You'll go find the behemoth, pick up some materials along the way. There's some plants, there's some rock types and different things like that you'll want to scoop up. And then once you're finished, you'll be able to find the behemoth. And when you do, you'll want to signal flare to your teammates as you go, because that'll alert them where the behemoth is coming from. See on the top of the map, you'll see the little red marker. That's the flare that a teammate has kind of thrown up there. And you want to follow the steps towards it and try to find the behemoth. And there they are. So I will throw up a flare. You'll see it pop up in the sky there. And then you'll get to fighting. So you'll want to be proficient with dodging. Dodging plays a very relevant role in the game for sure. And you'll want to use your square and triangle attacks are your light and heavy. If you read the move list, it'll tell you with each weapon what the square and triangle does, like what it's for. Some weapons, some attacks are better meant for removing parts, others for wounding, and even others for trying to stagger or stun the enemy. Now, this is 4 players, always online game. If you look at the bottom right hand corner, you also get a heal ability, and also you get some grenades. And so you can toss those grenades and use them whenever you think it's going to be most effective. See, now I have my super attack, so I'm going to cast it there with the R1. And you'll see me go through some combos here. Now, I have a perk on there that allows me to be invulnerable while I'm attacking. Not invulnerable, excuse me, unable to be staggered. So I can still take damage but I won't be staggered and I won't be knocked out of my strikes. Now this is one of the easier behemoths. As you go through the game, there's also on top of uh, the ability types that I mentioned before, the flame and such. There's also radiant and umbral, which is basically light and dark, and you'll increase the power and the strength of the behemoths that you fight as you go throughout the game. So when you get to the late game, you'll fight more powerful behemoths that'll grant you better rewards, so you can further upgrade your weapons and armor. It kind of travels a standard loop like that throughout the game, where you're just battling monsters, upgrading gear to fight even stronger and better monsters. Now this game, in my opinion, is best played with friends in a group. I healed myself there. I was getting a little low on life, and yeah, so that's my personal preference. I think this game is absolutely better played with friends, but it can be played solo. You can private queue, so you can play absolutely solo to increase the challenge. But again, as you see, when you're damaging the monster, you'll also see it develops cuts and injuries along its body. You'll want to pay attention to where that happens, because that's where you want to target in order to try to knock off that body part as much as possible. So that enemy is turned red, that means they're enraged, and their attacks are going to come faster, and they're going to have some additional surprises in store. The key to this game is honestly learning when to dodge, when to avoid attacks, when to push in, and when to stay away. Now, this game has kind of been plagued a little bit with some server issues from the beginning. I believe as a free-to-play game, especially cross-platform and cross-progression, it's received a lot of attention early on. So as you see, we just broke one of the limbs of the enemy, so that'll grant us a piece of material to upgrade weapons and such. But yeah, I do feel like because of the attention the game received early on, because it was probably more popular than most would have expected, the queues have been fairly long. I have not had any issues in the last couple days, but it's something to keep in mind during the busier times, on the weekends especially, where you might be waiting a little while to wait in queue. Once you get in the game, it should be fine, but that's just something to keep in mind. Other downside, the game does not give you a lot of instructions as far as how to progress combos and such. It is kind of easy to pick up but hard to master, which is a good thing in my opinion, because you want to focus. But as you get towards the end of the game, you're definitely gonna have builds that you're gonna want to create that are not necessarily laid out for you in easy fashion within the game. You're gonna have to practice and develop, or learn what various combos are best used against which enemies, where to upgrade what, and basically just try everything out at least once. Overall, it kind of does pay to be versatile, but you're gonna want to have a role on the team that's a special. Like say you want to play the hammer and focus on. Oh, I just went down. If you went down, you can wait for your teammates to revive like I am, or you can press the up button to get a stim shot, and that'll heal you automatically, but you only get 3 of those. And if you look in the top right hand corner, you might not be able to see it too well. There's a bar and a number that tells you what percentage towards your team breaking is. Once that happens, your teammates will not be able to revive you any longer. So right now it's a 19%. If it were to hit 100%, you would have to only respawn with your stim shots and not through actual revives from your teammates. Now we're progressing through. I do want to show you the load screen once we defeat the monster, kind of what happens upon victory, because the most of the game is pretty much the same as far as how the rewards look, what you gain from it, and what kind of the loading screen looks like at the very end. There's quests to be found as well. I'll show you in a second. But it's all pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, besides the end game builds and learning what is best to use where, um, everything else is pretty easy to get down. If you look on your options menu, you have a quest log with various quests that'll tell you what to do next. If you do purchase the hunt pass, there's a basic one and also an advanced one that you can purchase. So that's where those will be as well. And that is mostly it as far as this. I'm going to finish this battle. Like I said, thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. I do appreciate the likes, comments, and also subscriptions. Again, we knocked off another part of the body. As we finish up this fight here and go towards the end screen. The maximum rating you can receive from any one battle is an S++. That's the best, and your team gets a rating and also an individual rating as well. So you want to look at both of those, because they will determine some of the gear you get and who gets the best rewards at times. Although there is a bit of RNG when it comes to what rewards you get as well. That way you're encouraged to fight these monsters numerous times. Otherwise, you won't get all the rewards that you would absolutely want. And like I said, this is one of the basic monsters. There's dozens of monsters in the game, behemoths that you'll want to fight. So I would definitely take a look and see some of the details of them, because some of them look really sweet. And you have anything from flying creatures, bugs, and kind of diggers and ground-based creatures as well. So it's definitely a wide range of things to fight, for sure. And as you see, we keep knocking off different parts of the behemoth, and that will allow us to gain a bunch of rewards at the end to make some new parts. I'll show you how crafting works as well after that. Now, there are plenty of in-depth tutorials. The game has been out on beta for PC for a while. So this is kind of for those who need to catch up on console, who are just trying the game upon its full release on PC. But if you're looking for an in-depth guide, definitely do so to find some of the various classes to use, weapons to use, and so you can get a kind of a better idea on what how to master the game. This is going to be more basic stuff here. Nothing too crazy. And there we go. We've defeated the Shrike, which is the owl bear looking monster that we fought today. Now, as you'll see, we got my rank and the team rank. Not great, but that was just kind of showing you what was going on. And then here it'll tell you all of the loot that you've gotten on one side, all of the progression on the other. And now we'll go back to the main town, and it'll show you where some of the different vendors are, stuff you can buy, stuff you can craft. There's all kinds of different things to do within the small town as well, that I'll show you in just a second. Like I said, that was just one of many of the behemoths to fight. Honestly, if you want to get into the game, really practice the early behemoths and get their moves down, because a lot of the later game behemoths, there's some that are similar but like more advanced. So you'll want to get their attacks down early, and then as you progress, you'll be able to dodge and get away and avoid things with ease from there. So as you can see here, straight ahead is a bounty board. That will be the patrols and the pursuits. Pursuits is where you can pick the individual behemoths that you want to fight, whereas patrol will just let you pick what type of patrol it is, and you don't get to pick the full, the actual creature that you're going to fight. Now you can get quests from some of these vendors. You can also craft. Here you can craft tonics, heals. Over here is the store and the battle pass, which will show you what you've earned so far. You can also, this over here is where you will, when you obtain chests for new orbs to equip. And then you can also, from the middleman, you can actually craft orbs. I'm actually crafting one right now. That'll be ready in a day. You can upgrade your guns over there. You can upgrade this is quests. Then up here is your armory, where you can upgrade your armor, and that was your weapons. This is your armor and your lantern. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out my preview, my first thoughts on Dauntless. I'm having a lot of fun with the game so far. Hope you guys will check it out and check the channel out a bit more. Thank you as always for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will catch you guys later.